Hello Doctor Who fans, I am Doctor Who Commentator here to provide you my personal fan commentary on Doctor Who. The disclaimers before we start: I'm not affiliated with Doctor Who in any way, don't make any money off this, and I don't know anyone connected to Doctor Who. And now let's move on with what I felt was a very average episode of Doctor Who, The Empress of Mars. Okay, that is a terrible CGI effect of NASA. Good God, where did the budget go? Because it wasn't spent on that. A lot of NASA-like people. That is not Houston.
Down now, Valkyrie.
That does not. Okay,
Crossed, Alan.
my knowledge is mostly from Apollo 13, but that does not look like Houston.
People. Transmission arriving in.
Mission control, rather.
10, 9, 8.
So a countdown. Always like a countdown.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Sorry, I could never resist a countdown.
What the hell are you?
Like I said.
Is this Neil Armstrong?
What?
How do you not know that?
First man on the moon?
Not quite the first.
What, you mean he wasn't the first man on the moon?
That is such a human-centric question.
I'm the human in the setup.
She is actually. A bit embarrassing, really.
Not all.
Who are you people?
Friendly aliens. Don't mind us. Just a day out for the kids.
No, she's human. You already established this.
Is it? Oh, yes, that's right. Authorizing us to go anywhere we please. So, Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie is probing the Martian ice caps with a new kind of camera on board. Uses a different spectrum to see under the poles and beam back pictures.
Now, admittedly, that bit did kind of confuse me. Does that mean this is now all taken place? Is this a Blood Brothers situation where that's actually the end of what's happened and we're about to see what preceded to make it? Or did they notice that, decided to go back in time to see what happened? On how that results in that situation. It's not quite clear here.
Mars, 1881, or thereabouts. According to the TARDIS, that's when the message was made, though we may be a bit early.
So there were humans on Mars in Victorian times?
No.
But he knows there were ice warriors.
The TARDIS registered multiple life forms below the surface, so it seems like the best place to look.
Maybe someone's been messing around with time. Like in The Terminator.
The Terminator.
It's a movie. You haven't seen it?
I'm a very busy man.
It's broadly messing around with time. Terminator. It's more about keeping time exactly as it's supposed to be.
There are people here. Why would they bother writing messages?
Oh no, wait. No, kill Sarah. Yeah, it was messing around with time.
Forever. Rogue graffiti artist.
Doctor?
I see it.
If there's fire, there's got to be oxygen.
Wait, let's not be rash.
Okay.
Hang on,
I'll go first.
she is right.
What are you doing?
Fire, oxygen. Basic physics, isn't it?
Yes, it is basic physics, he knows that.
Basic death.
Wait, how can there be oxygen here?
I mean, I know Nardol's lungs were cheap, but still.
The indigenous Martians were superb engineers. Mind you, there's a lot here that...
Yeah, he may have been able to survive, I have no idea.
Oh, it's like the underground tunnels in The Thing.
I've not seen the thing, I can't possibly comment.
Movie. You like that one too? Everybody dies.
Okay, a cheap CGI effect again. So, I wouldn't go on, except I remember when we saw those Silurians back in a Matt Smith episode, that was great CGI.
Find a way down. Go back to the TARDIS. Get ropes, lifting gear, anything you can find.
Okay, that really doesn't make sense. Why on earth did the TARDIS just suddenly disappear like that? It could be the Hads, or as I was talking in the podcast, someone pointed out how the Rani used to use a remote control device. Thinking about it, I can't quite remember very well, but I think something happened earlier this series with the TARDIS going places it shouldn't do, didn't it? I'm gonna go on a semi-limb here and think maybe Missy has a remote control. Maybe she is manipulating the TARDIS in some way. It's very weird for it to just suddenly change like this.
So this could go very well, or very badly.
Well, considering they didn't join the Federation until the Galactic Federation until about the 40th century, and you know it's 1881, very badly. By the way, can I quickly point out, their armor has, frankly,
We weren't expecting company.
when we consider that this is 1881, and you think the Cold War episode as well, which was set somewhere, well, during the Cold War, every other episode that we've had of the Cybermen, now, I can't speak for Big Finish, I've not listened to Big Finish, but in terms of TV-wise, every other episode of the Cybermen, it's all set in the future, alright? This armor
By the moon's eye only.
looks a lot more advanced than that in the classic series. So they seem to have downgraded over time. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Guardian of the Tythonian Hive.
I mean, even the hands, I mean, they've now got 3 fingers as opposed to the Lego claws, which they had before. And I think anyone can tell, opposable thumbs are more of an advantage than Lego claws.
I wasn't talking to you.
You alright, Friday?
Who are you and what the devil are you doing here?
Well, I could ask you the same question. And I will.
Also, I may have talked over it, but I think the Doctor mentioned something about being part of Typhonian Hive. That's from the creature from the pit, which has nothing to do with Cybermen.
Hello? Hello, miss? I was wondering if I could ask for your help. I need to get to Mars. Well, I need to get back to Mars, in fact. And it's
Quickly now.
urgent. Only the TARDIS is acting up, and I was wondering if you could tell me how to fix the...
Of course I can.
Oh, by the way, yeah,
Right.
I know this is
Oh, thank
technically a continuity error of just about every single Doctor Who series, but it's a time machine. He could easily go back to the exact second he left, but no, he chooses to wait, go back and go for a long period of time, to which the Doctor and Bill have already had their little adventure.
Well, he seems to have taken the TARDIS. It's... I'm sure it's only a temporary thing, you know, but it means that for the time being we're
Stuck.
stuck here on Mars. You were saying, Colonel?
Yes. I was stationed up there, South Africa. One day, I came across something in the veldt. Something that was clearly not of this Earth. An interplanetary vessel. I found Friday
So he-
on board.
he grasped
in a
that?
sort of coma, half dead.
Do they have astronomy at that point? I genuinely have no idea.
As in Robinson Crusoe.
So, according to this, you've been on board Friday.
Obvious bad guy.
Yes, that we were
So it's just one of these reasons I find this episode so average, just because it just uses such obvious tropes. A reluctant leader and a villainous second in command.
Roomy one.
It was, yes, wasn't it?
Yes.
Very roomy. But the whole, getting on board, that's all. It's all a bit hazy. Maybe you could tell us everything.
Yes, well, after I woke him up, Friday asked for my help.
To repair his spaceship.
Yes, and to bring him home.
In return.
Which he did.
For what?
Well, now, that is the question.
Prepare to fire!
Yes, because they wouldn't do anything without some sort of reward.
They helped us build the Gargantua, a remarkable piece of mining.
Oh, by the way,
fashioned from one of
you've got a black soldier in there. I was confused about that. I asked my dad, wouldn't they have been fighting colonial wars?
He promised us gemstones, you see.
But they did mention being in South Africa. By the time they would have colonized it, they probably would have conscripted some black soldiers, so that's a possibility.
Victoria. To loot it of its riches, stake a claim. The red planet turned pink.
That was the general idea, old love. But there's nothing here. The whole show's been a ruddy washout. The ship crashed on landing. I go top.
So you better go back then.
Repair the beggar. Let's do it when I run across you.
And?
Well, we're going to get it later in this episode, but
For all of us.
he says that
But now,
it's actually further repaired than he says it is.
pretty desperate, I'm afraid.
So why doesn't he leave right now unless he believes there is something worth being in that mine?
You told us why you came here. What does he get out of it?
Nothing.
Also,
Nothing.
I'm not exactly from a mining background
Much longer than he anticipated.
per se,
Mars is dead.
but I do know that if you dig underneath a planet to a planet's core,
Is he now?
it's pretty hot underground. They should not be wearing coats like that.
An ice warrior.
And they're the proper Martians, right? They belong here.
Yes. The indigenous...
Even if they are on one of the poles.
Ancient reptilian race. They built themselves a sort of biomechanical armor for protection. The creature within is at one with its counterparts. The ice warriors. They could build a city under the sand, yet drench the snows of Mars with innocent blood. They could slaughter whole civilizations, yet weep with the crushing of a flower.
Like the Vikings.
Yes. Yes, very much.
Yeah. Kirk Douglas and Tony Curtis.
A very beautiful attitude you've taken for the Ice Warriors.
There's this brilliant bit where his eye gets gouged out.
Why have you really come back?
I'm old and tired and spent.
But still agile, apparently.
Now then, Fitz, you look lively, lad.
What's the point, though?
Jackdaw.
Months we've been digging here, and what have we got to show for it? Sweet Fanny Adams, that's what. Yeah. What old Friday promised, it's a load of gammon.
No, it isn't.
Jackdaw?
He didn't notice the light the moment it smashed. I mean, literally, he was just looking at the commander right there. Didn't notice a bright light.
You must come at once, sir. The Gargantua. She's uncovered something. Good Lord.
Looks like old Friday came good after all, eh?
Yeah, so it's not just jewels, is it? It's a tomb.
What is it? A tomb?
Sort of.
Not just any tomb. This is the tomb of an ice queen.
Now this is kind of a nice touch, because we now know a new element of Ice Warrior society, that they are in fact ruled by a monarchy.
We're sometimes part of a complex hibernation system.
Sergeant Major, get these civilians out of here.
No, Colonel! Colonel!
He clearly knows a lot here!
I think not, Doctor. This is a military matter.
This may not just be a grave you have uncovered. This could be the entrance to an Ice Warrior hive.
What? Sergeant Major Peach, I gave you an order.
I'm in charge here, Keshav.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and clearly the man
Post
knows
regard.
what
Don't want to come near this
he
thing
is
till the morning.
talking
Yes, sir.
about.
The last thing I'm going to do is take sides.
But you are.
But isn't it obvious? Friday's been using you all along. His aim was to get back to Mars and find his queen.
Nonsense. He was leading us to the riches he promised us.
The simple fact is, you don't belong here. The sooner you get off this planet, the better.
Don't belong. We're British. Mars is part of the Empire now.
So, that's reason enough. You're British.
What happened to not taking sides?
I'm trying to save their lives. Let's face it, in this scenario, the humans are the invaders. On the other hand, the Ice Warriors have vastly superior armaments, which will wipe the humans out.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do?
Here you go, Sarge. Much obliged, I'm sure, Jackdaw.
Don't I get none?
RHIP, son.
Eh?
Rank as his privileges.
So why was a higher ranking officer guarding then? Surely you just give that to the lower rank officers.
Set up a fella for life, Vincy. Even just a little bit of it.
Now then, you horrible little man.
Really?
Don't go getting
Because
up
frankly they
there.
just look plastic to me.
I'm sure the Colonel will be distributing this munificence in a fair and decent fashion. And we can all look forward to a rosy future.
Sarge? Jackdaw, what have you done?
Acquired her from the infirmary. He'd be as right as ninepence come dawn. But by then, I'll be gone.
Gone where? In case you've forgotten we're marooned on ruddy Mars.
You don't know what I know, son. Captain Catchlove's further on with his repairs than he's let on. Oh, yes, my old love.
Yeah,
Jackdaw
so if he's
died.
further on than he's let on,
This time,
why isn't he left?
Meted. Come on, give us a hand.
Or more importantly, why is he bothering to lie in the first place?
Right. Keep an eye out, will ya?
No, you ain't getting me involved in this lot, Jackdaw.
Oh, go on, be a sport. You'll get your share of the rhino. I promise.
Why didn't he just punch him? He said, you're not getting me involved. Okay, then you're not involved. Am I the only one currently remembering the Tomb of Rassilon right now? It's literally just come to my mind, the Tomb of Rassilon.
It's the poor what gets the blame.
Really struggling there. What he thought should have been easy.
It's the rich what gets the pleasure.
Yeah, and it looks like plastic.
I did all a bleeding shame.
So, to revive it, did they need to remove one of those gems, or Was it just being near them? Because they were already near them earlier. And now Friday news.
Someone's coming, Jackdaw. We'll really swing for this. Jackdaw. Come on, mate. Don't muck about.
Hang on. Did they say mate back in those days?
What?
Actually, if he was conscripted, he's got a very good British accent. Or Cockney accent, anyway. Well, it's barely Cockney. You know what I mean. Okay, there's another issue, the weapons right now. Again, it seems that if we consider the chronological order that this is possibly the first time we're seeing the Ice Warriors, being at 1881, all those other times, that looked like a more advanced weapon than the one we saw in the old episodes, which are set much later in the future.
My sentinel.
I mean, yeah, I get that back then that the whole poking through a piece of reflective sheet was the only special effect they could do back then, and it's kind of reminiscent of that, but...
By my calculations, Majesty, we have slept for 5,000 years.
It's just not right to me.
1,000 years.
It just feels like when we look at all this, and we know everything from the classic series, then in the chronological order of time, they downgraded.
What the hell is going on here, Friday?
Colonel, respect, if I can do this, I can sort this out.
Who the devil is this?
She is Alexa, Empress of Mars.
The deuce she is. You think you can just go about slaughtering my men willy-nilly, do you, madam?
Your men? What does the pink thing say?
Pink thing. Sergeant Major, call to arms.
Wait!
Look it away.
Honor must be satisfied, an eye for an eye.
I am in command here.
Exactly.
All right.
By the moon's eye honor thee. I am the doctor, and I beg leave to intercede.
You know my race.
I do. And I ask.
This is actually almost similar to his audience with the Draconians, actually.
Majesty, the world you knew is dead. The atmosphere has all but evaporated. The surface is lifeless. If there are others who sleep here, they cannot survive on Mars without help. You must cooperate if you are to survive.
He speaks the truth, Majesty. The war, all that we fought for, is less than the dust now.
What war were you fighting, though?
And you, female.
Honestly, again, 1881.
What do you say? Me? We are both surrounded by noisy males. I would value your opinion. Yeah.
What does that mean? Is it the fact that all the others are just soldiers looking for a fight? And she wants someone who isn't
They're not lying to you.
fighting?
There's no need for anyone else to die today. The human saved his life.
Is this true?
His cryogenic cell was damaged. They saved him.
And made him their pet.
It was necessary to dissemble, Majesty. I thought only of your resurrection. It was a tactical decision.
And I
It was tactical.
duty is to command. Present.
What about your lower command Ice Warriors?
You rule his God.
Surely you have a ranking system here.
This way.
Fight. Yes. For the future.
Not a dead past.
Well, that was unwise.
Down! Put your gun down! Halt!
Majesty, are you alright?
You ask for mercy for these creatures.
Indeed.
Then I grant it.
Thank you.
They will die quickly.
Oh dear, that's not what he wanted.
Colonel! Retreat! Retreat!
Chancellor, listen to me. Your only chance is to come to terms.
We have the Gargantua! Is she primed an aim, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
No, I forbid you! That is not a weapon!
Forbid! You forbid!
Oh, this farce has gone on long enough! Arms at the ready!
No, don't do it, for God's sake!
Actually, given the situation they're in, maybe... Oh, I don't know. I'm still a bit confused what that lever did, because I thought it turned it on its axis. Who knows? Machines are complicated. Summon the army.
We're about to go to war, so it's time you knew the truth.
That's right.
Listen to me, men! The Colonel is not what he appears. The hero of Isangawana. Show them your famous move. Show them! The mark of a rope. While you were fighting for Queen and country, the Colonel here was dancing the Newgate polka. This is the mark of the rope that failed to hang him for desertion.
So why didn't they shoot him?
Tried to hang him, but they bungled it. He's a paper tiger, not fit to command.
Look, it doesn't matter who's in charge of your stupid expedition.
You don't stand a chance against the Ice Warriors.
What are we doing? There will be more, you idiot. The hive is active.
Exactly, he knows what he's talking about.
Their home planet.
Well, I dare say the British Army is more than a match for a bunch of upright crocodiles. Sergeant Major! Sir! I'm assuming command. Take the Colonel and put him in the brig. Sergeant Major Peach, I gave you an order.
Very good, sir.
Private!
Seriously, they were obviously hanging him. He was meant to be executed. But they just let him go?
If you would be so good as to come this way, sir.
Oh, and for the last time, get these wretched people out of my sight. Put them in the brig, too. There's no room for civilians here.
Yeah, like I said, very obvious villain.
It ain't.
Usual tropes.
Not now Neville Catchlove's in charge.
You'll regret this.
Wow, they...
A cup of ours will be better.
I only just realised they built a brig.
It will
Well, they
take
were-
time to revive all my warriors, but perhaps...
Am I the only one who's actually remembering Tomb of the Cybermen right now? Because this feels very Tomb of the Cybermen.
If either of those creatures get out of there, we'll be ready for them.
Yes, sir.
Carry on, Sergeant Major.
You're all like me down, sir.
There's no setting for wood. Why is there still no setting for wood?
He's going to have to make a wood setting eventually.
I'm all plants.
Or he would if it wasn't the fact that
Who the deuce are you two, really?
wood does absorb sound.
You speak of us as though we're a different species. You seem to know all about these ice warriors. You seem to know a lot about most things.
Well, we're sort of police.
Speak for yourself.
What? Well, you can deal with big green Martians and rocket ships, but you can't deal with us being the police.
No. It's just such a fanciful notion. A woman in the police force.
Listen, yeah? I'm going to make allowances for your Victorian attitudes because, well, you actually are Victorian.
Yeah.
But anyway, is it true? You deserted?
So was that bit even necessary?
Oh, cowardice. Simple cowardice. I thought I had it in me to command, Miss Potts, but when push came to shove, I flunked it. Deserted my post. Catchlove's the only one who knew, and he's bled me dry. It could have been a fresh start for all of us.
But he's a colonel. Surely he would have been.
All quiet.
Just at this point,
Maybe I'm just thinking of generals, but higher ranks aren't usually in the battlefield, I thought.
Always liked the colonel, I did. Seemed a decent chap.
We must take orders from the captain now, son. Them's the rules.
Sir.
They had no majors with them then.
Blimey, Sarge. This is a something to tell your kids. I mean, my kids.
You just face front and mark your man when you see him.
I'm just saying, captains are actually quite mere.
Set a date of your son? You and your Alice?
Not yet. Want to have enough put by to make us comfy. Then we'll get married in that little church with the twisted spire back home. Down by the river.
He's behind you.
So green there, Sarge. It's beautiful. I miss the trees.
And yes, as said, there are more than two of them.
On my puff. I'm just very sorry.
By the way, have you not realized yet these bullets don't work?
How in God's name did they get behind us? Try this! For God's sake, 90 degrees! It won't work, sir! We need more men! Catchlock is his senseless slaughter!
He's not wrong. Well, that one knew exactly where they were.
Come on, lads! There's only...
Mind you, it is Friday.
Sleep no more, my warriors. Sleep no more. It is time.
Is that Mark Gatiss making a nod to his previous episode that really wasn't that good?
Doctor, what do we do? There's no way out! Close it! Close the gap!
Incidentally, it's a little trivia. I think Mark Gatiss was initially planning this to be a sequel to Sleep No More, or more of his episode to be a sequel to Sleep No More. But in the end, Moffat said no and just put an Ice Warriors story in there.
Friday?
Doctor, we must work together.
See? He sees it.
My ice warriors.
What are you doing? No, I'm sorry, Doctor. Blue funk. Can't help it. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yep, coward. Probably sensible though.
Distraction.
You got one.
Good luck.
Queenie! Let's talk.
Queenie.
Woman to woman. You valued my opinion before?
Perhaps. But this is war.
Why? Why?
Should really be paying attention right now.
Majesty, she's right.
You have forged a new alliance, I see.
We can stand together.
It's too late. Mars stands alone. We are
They're warriors.
strong.
What happened?
Soon all my warriors will wake. Do not require assistance.
Your Majesty! Oh, Your Majesty! I wouldn't do that if I were you! Stand down or I'll fire!
Fire! What?
Well, Joe,
The the ceiling.
Never my strong suit, but aren't we underneath Mars's North Pole? Over our heads, millions of tons of snow and ice. One good blast from the Gargantua here, your army will be on ice forever, trapped in an eternal winter, like Frozen. It's a movie.
You've seen that one. I've not seen Frozen. I can't possibly comment.
Well, that's a price worth paying, isn't it? It's a simple choice. Your acts are the oldest in the book. We must live together, or die together.
That's an ultimatum.
You dare to touch me!
And now he just ruined it.
Don't do this, Captain. Don't mess this up.
No choice, old boy. You see, I suddenly remembered I need a bit of a hand getting that bloody ship off the ground. And who better to ask than the Ice Queen herself?
Oh, it's the end. Completely finished it.
Your Majesty, call them off.
But wait, who better to ask than the Ice Queen? Maybe someone who's actually working on it?
Lifts to stop you following, but, well, war is hell, what?
If you want to escape, I can help. Just leave. Iraq's are without people. Don't mess this up.
Thank you, Doctor. But, I think I prefer my plan. Gentlemen! It's been a privilege, however brief, to command you, but all good things come to an end.
I think you'll find, Captain, that I'm in command here.
Yeah, taking command, taking authority.
You sacrificed one of your own without tactical advantage.
No, I didn't sacrifice him.
More punishment.
I executed him.
Do you now expect your life to be spared?
No. I expect it to be taken, and I give it willingly.
So he's going to allow his life to be taken.
Stop it, Doctor, stop it!
Some time ago, I was hanged for cowardice. The execution took longer than expected, and I fear I have not used my time well. I shall be happy for you to complete the work they failed to do so long ago.
It will be a pleasure.
No, please don't do this.
This is all... Sorry, I wasn't even mentioning it, but...
Your Majesty, I have a request, if that may be permitted.
This is all very cheesy. Sorry, it's all... it's safe and cheesy.
Please do not judge mankind by his cruelty, or indeed
and
by
predictable.
my cowardice. Spare my friends and my world.
Your request does you credit, soldier. It will be considered.
Plus, I kind of prefer the original... I swear alive. When it was much deeper
and in the sense of the
of a whisper.
Thank you.
But now it's a lot more like this.
But not today.
Much louder, deeper than a whisper.
Soldier, to die in battle is the way of the warrior. Pledge your allegiance to me and my word.
Sorry, just doing voices now.
You have the opportunity.
My life and my service are yours. To the end.
To the death, my friend. To the death.
So now we got a whole race of humans who never went back to Earth
Always been my problem.
and joined the Ice Warriors. Okay. Now, this bit right here, I went into this with the Omega Files podcast.
Sort of a run-robin email.
This creates what I think is a bit of a continuity error with the Curse of Paladon. Again, like I said, that was in the 40th century. This is 1881. There's this whole part where they've learnt of, well, you'll see it. Well, it's Alpha Centauri, which is meant to be a nod to the whole Galactic Federation, which would suggest sort of the likely start of this, but there's a whole gap where that just didn't happen.
Queen Empress.
I know this isn't the joining, but
Excellent. We
the start of
have
it.
received details of your situation. We would be happy to send a
Incidentally, the actress playing Alpha Centauri here is the very same actress who played Alpha Centauri in the Curse of Peladon and Monster of Peladon.
Welcome to the universe.
Which I must say is kind of clear because her voice does sound a lot older now. She's 92 years old, actually.
Big enough?
For the ship to see? I think so.
You gonna be okay?
Alright, that comment there, I suppose that would indicate, yeah,
Now it's going to be better than I expected.
everything we just saw in NASA, that is
Nothing for
later.
me back on Earth and to help forge a new world, well, that will be my privilege. Seems a shame, though.
What does?
Well, no one back on Earth will ever know that we got here.
Oh, yes, they
It
will.
will be forgotten.
Oh, not quite forgotten, Colonel. You've changed the mindset of a very stubborn Martian monarch. And one day, even though the ice cap may obscure it, someone's going to notice that.
That's gonna get noticed eventually by NASA, but of course NASA doesn't exist yet. But can I just say, oh wait, there's no atmosphere, sorry, so what I was about to say was pointless. I was gonna say surely the weather would erode that or change that in some way after the
What did I miss?
hundreds of years, but
Yeah.
maybe it wouldn't.
Before you go getting all frowny,
Missy. Instantly, I'm told there was actually a bit of a production order problem with this because this was actually meant to be the third to last episode, not the fourth to last. So this break where we have in here actually makes a lot more sense when you consider it the third to last, because it would have led in right to the next episode. Unless Missy's going to appear in next week's episode, I don't know.
Just fine.
What?
The doctor, please tell me. Really? Are you alright?
She's playing a long game here, you just know it. Next time.
Ninth Legion and the Keeper of the Gate. They disappeared.
Except they didn't.
Where is my friend?
Romans.
And what destroyed the Roman army?
And the Beast.
5,000 Romans.
So it's pretty much like that episode with Vincent Van Gogh. Goffin.
Makes the world darker. And the beast stronger.
So, I have been Doctor Who Commentator. I am also Doctor Who Commentator on the Doctor Who TV Community Board. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed making it. And subsequently, if there is anything else you would like me to talk about Doctor Who related, please leave a comment. I'd love to consider anything. Goodbye.